guys. I've been away for a really long time. I was working at a summer camp up in Pennsylvania, in sort of southern Pennsylvania, but it was more west than where I usually go, so it was a bit farther than I usually go. It wasn't directly up north like in York or Lancaster. But anyways, I just got back today, so I can show off a few smoke alarms I got while I was away. So yeah, this right here is a Fyrnetics Lifesaver model F-900D. I got it new in box. I actually got it while I was there. I had it shipped to the place, the camp that I was working at. And this is the first generation model. This is the very first model that Fyrnetics ever made, as far as I know. So yeah. As you can see, I got it new in box. And here's the detector itself. It's in mint condition, never used, never. I'm guessing the box has been opened. It was like new old stock, basically. So we'll take a look at the box here. So Fyrnetics smoke alarm, Lifesaver, Lifesaver smoke alarm, as good as its name, Fyrnetics, model F-900D. And then on this side has warranty information, another picture of the detector, and this side is the same as the opposite side. And then on the back is this cool diagram of the detector. And some information there. Fyrnetics Incorporated, Elgin, Illinois, assembled in Hong Kong. So, yeah, so here's the detector itself. Now these detectors are classics. I've seen so many of these. They were so popular back in the 70s. They're still, a lot of them are, there are a lot still in use today, still in service. Yeah, these are classics. So this is, like I said, the first generation model. It does not have a horn output hole right here. The second generation model did have a horn output hole right there. I used to have a second generation model. I actually am supposed to be getting one pretty soon from someone who actually had contacted me on Instagram, I think it was. So, yeah. Go ahead and open it up. Has a hinged cover, which is interesting for most detectors at this time, had the cover that completely removed. So here's the inside, and it has the spaceship-like sensor and the regular Kobishi CLB27 brass squealer horn. It's really shiny. I love this horn, and this one is really shiny and new. The PCB is, you know, your basic Fyrnetics PCB with the capacitors, the two sensitivity adjustments, and the battery is right there. And here's the date code right here. It's 0977, so it was made in, I think that's September of 1977. So this is a pretty old one. The label is on the inside of the cover. So there's a little label, smoke alarm, model F-900D, 9-volt battery operated, serial number 723068. Sensitivity information, and Fyrnetics Incorporated, Elgin, Illinois, assembled in Hong Kong again. And then the test button is on the inside of the cover as well. It's really shiny because it's like mint condition. So yeah, test button. And then there's the two contacts that the test button pushes down on. So yeah, it does have the tiered test button. However, notice the test weekly right there. It's molded into the cover. There are some that I've seen that have it actually like printed black, like stamped, I guess, on the cover. So I thought that was interesting. I think all the ones I've seen have it molded into the cover. So yeah, let's go ahead and give it a test now. So I'm going to test it. Kind of lower pitched, and I think, like I mentioned with the Sears one that I made a video of, they varied the pitch of these a lot. So it is a little bit lower pitched. Let's test it again. Yeah, you kind of got to push kind of hard to get it to go off right. Let me try that again. Kind of raspy sounding. I kind of like the sound of it. It does have the ting after it stops sounding. So I didn't show the back of it, but here's the back of the unit. No label on the back except for the assembled in Hong Kong. And it does have a plastic base, unlike my misconception earlier that I had with the Sears and the second generation model, where I thought they had metal bases. That was simply a false memory. These never had metal bases, they always had plastic bases. So, yeah. There are a lot of companies that rebranded these. Sears rebranded them, like I'd mentioned. I actually have my Sears right here. As you can see, they're basically the exact same thing, except the Sears has the heat sensor. However, one thing that I thought was interesting, that I actually had known before, is look right here, the little circle. Fyrnetics did make a model that had a heat sensor, and they have been spotted in the wild before. However, we don't know what the model number is, and I can't find any information on any old newspaper articles or catalogs or anything about it. So until we find one, we'll just have to guess. So yeah, Sears rebranded them. And I think the Sears one is lower pitched. I have a battery in this one. The Sears is lower pitched than this one. Yeah. Yeah, the Sears is about 2 steps lower. But this one's the lowest one I own. So yeah, Sears rebranded them. Intermatic had a rebrand that was identical, completely identical, and I think only 2 of those are known to exist. Nathaniel has one, and then somebody else found one a few months ago. Montgomery Wards rebranded them. I think Montgomery Wards was also identical. Presto rebranded them. Presto was another company that was in the 70s. Yeah. Think of other... Archer rebranded them, but I think they only rebranded the second generation model. I don't know about that. I think Rittenhouse may have, but I don't think so. That might have been... I might have been confusing that with the Wards model. Yeah, so there are a lot of rebrands out there. Now, look at Fyrnetics' timeline. So like I'd said, this is Fyrnetics' very first model that they ever made, and they also, at the same time, they made this one, the 1200. This is the hardwired model of this one, and you can see they made them a little bit smaller, and they're sealed. You can't open the cover, but they have the same sensor. They got the electromechanical vibratory horn. So yeah, that's the 70s models right there that they made. And then they switched in the 80s to the second generation models, like this one right here. This is my 0908 with the escape light and hush button, but the second generation F-900D was basically the exact same thing, except it didn't have another button here. It just had that button, and it didn't have the escape light. But notice the horn output hole. This one had a piezo horn. The second generation model had a piezo horn. I think I forgot to mention that, but you can see that in my other video. These have dome test buttons, which is interesting. They switched from that to from the tier to the dome, and they also made the test button contact different. They made it like kind of a tab that pushes onto the sensor rather than those 2 spikes that the test button simply shorts. This one's a little bit broken. Yeah. I'm not going to worry about it right now. So then they went to that one. I guess I'll put the Sears over here with the 70s models. And then they switched over to this design, the much smaller design. This is my 1225. The battery model was the 0918, I think? 0908, no. I don't remember. They had a battery model that was identical, but it's much smaller. But notice they kept the exact same design with the 4 sections. Same as the 70s and the 80s models. These were made in the late 80s, I believe. Early 90s, possibly. But yeah, there was a battery model. And they did have a hardwired version of the second generation 1200. It was model 1285. And it looked exactly like the 1200, except it had 2 buttons right here. It had a red LED down here and a green LED up here. And it was hardwired with battery backup. And it had a piezo horn. So yeah, they went over to this model. And then what they did is they switched from this design. They did away with the 4-section design completely, and they switched to the Kidde design, and I think that was when Kidde bought them. And the first one that they made under the Kidde label was the 0915, I believe, or the 1275. The 0915, the battery-powered model. 1275 was the hardwire with battery backup model. And that was the very first Kidde-branded Fyrnetics Lifesaver detector they made. And then they continued to brand different models, Fyrnetics and Lifesaver, And then I think it was around the end of the 2000s is when Fyrnetics, they just completely did away with the Fyrnetics brand name, and Lifesaver kind of faded away into oblivion. So that's kind of a brief history of Fyrnetics Lifesaver smoke alarms. So let's put all these newer models aside, and the 1200 and the Sears, because this video is about this one. So take a look at the box inside. I did get a battery with it. I don't think this is the original one. This is a Rayovac. I think it originally would have come with a Mallory Duracell or Energizer. Probably a Mallory Duracell. Here's the manual. It's in this baggie. I haven't opened it yet, so we're going to open it up. So let's take a look at the manual. It came in this nice little holder that kind of holds the detector, and it's pretty cool. So Lifesaver, smoke alarm, early warning, smoke alarm, owner's manual, Fyrnetics Incorporated, model F-900D. Congratulations on owning a Lifesaver smoke alarm. A table of contents. Some sort of address thing. I guess notifying. This is I can't tell if this is a warranty registration card or just some kind of notification to the fire department. I don't know. Oh, insurance aid. Yeah, it's for some insurance. We don't have to do that these days. Important safeguards. There's that cool diagram again of the detector. That's really cool. I wonder if they actually did that to a unit, like made a cutaway like that. That'd be really cool. That'd probably be an interesting prototype type collector's type thing. Some more cool diagrams. The installation instructions. Huh, it's funny, they actually recommend taking the cover completely off to install it. Fire safety information in here. That's a cool picture. I love all the pictures in these old manuals. They're all so cool. There's the California State Fire Marshal document. And there's the warranty. Huh, it looks like there was another page in here that somebody tore. That must have been the warranty registration card. So maybe this was used. I don't know. The manual itself is dated 4/77, so that was April of 1977, so, but the detector itself is September of that same year. Okay, so, yeah, very cool stuff here. Definitely a unit I've wanted for a very long time. I've seen these in places. I saw a few in some open houses. That's really the only places I've seen them in, and I think you've heard me talk about those in my Sears video, and in my second generation video. So, that's the Fyrnetics Lifesaver F-900D. Thank you for watching, and more to come.